Hi traders, I just want to show you how things went today for me for the 24th of September. This is just trading the range bar 3 here, the 3 pip range bars for Euro USD, and pretty good day. Win percentage maybe a little bit lower than I might normally like, but at least the wins were pretty good. So, 3 wins, 1 break even, couple losses for 60 pips profit. Really, it was the European morning that was really good. I did not find much of anything and did not even trade all that long in the New York session, as we're going to see. It's just that was kind of different than what we've normally seen recently. We've seen a lot of poor European sessions, a lot of pretty good New Yorks, but this is the opposite, and unfortunately we didn't get good sessions for both. But here's basically how things went down today. I just put a thumbs down here. This is like kind of the first potential trade, which maybe an aggressive trader might take. Not usually something I'd like to take for my first trade of the day off the 50 there. But yeah, this, kind of in a mid-Frankfurt area, you can sometimes see these come down a little bit, but yeah, not my favorite type of trades. I did try to take this one in here, which was also aggressive, and maybe I think I might have taken it just because I had kind of missed this one, and I decided to go for it, but probably not the best trade, and certainly not a beginner type 1 trade, because the market's very flat. So I was looking more for it to come out to this 50, potentially see what might happen from that point, going into London Open, hoping that London Open might push it up, but it ended up not really going anywhere, chopped around a little bit, and I did take basically a full loss on that one. And part of the reason I did like it too is we had this false break earlier, so I was hoping that false break might mean, okay, it's not coming down, it's going to come up. But yeah, it didn't work out that way, but I was still looking to the upside. And when it came and it broke up through this area, and there was just a lot of congestion here, and it was also, as you can see, right at London Open. So I took this type 1 SP. It's a type of variation of the type 1s that we take with the Elite Range Bar system, but I took this one mostly based on the timing. It was the timing that I liked, and I liked that it had just broken through, as you can see, right for London Open. So that one was pretty good. It ran a little bit. I tried to give it a little bit to see if we get a topping pattern or if we might keep pushing. Eventually, after basically 3 failures to push up, I took my 14 pips there, got myself positive on the day. And then I took another type 1 long in here. There was another one earlier, but I was still in my previous trade. That wouldn't have worked out. And then this one didn't really go much anywhere, but I liked the setup. I liked that it was close to kind of the MAs that we use. It was by the rules. But again, we failed to push up. We had kind of a false break at the top here, started to push down. I gave it another couple chances to push and it wouldn't go. And at that point I started to say, okay, well now it looks like we've hit our top. We had some other reasons to think that we might be topping out. And so I was looking at the possibility of a short, but I was still in my trade. I hadn't come to a full loss yet, so I was basically looking for an exit and reverse. And that is what I got here. I didn't take this first bar because it didn't have the type of pattern we look for, but this second bar was exactly basically what I'm looking for a short. Took that one, and this one was just an excellent runner, which was really nice to see. A lot of times you do see these on these false breaks when everybody gets trapped going in the opposite directions. We see a lot of momentum happening. And yeah, so a lot of momentum coming in. Price really pushed. I was first looking at this 50. We didn't have much of a bounce there, just kept pushing. No real reason to get out. And so I just held on as long as I could. But I did want to take some of those pips. I did want to make sure, because I didn't have a whole lot from the morning so far with those couple losses. I wanted to make sure I got some in the bank. And so once it bounced up pretty strongly, I was still trying to hold on. It came down again. And when it came up once more, I took my pips. And then I took another short because we have a pretty nice trend move going, so you want to keep going with it. You don't want to fight it unless you have good reasons to take counter trend trades. You want to try to stick with the trend as long as you can. So I did take another one here. Had to wait a little bit for this one. It chopped around, came into drawdown a little bit, but then eventually did run for me. I put another thumbs up because it was a second potential opportunity to get in if you didn't get in on the first, but it did run really well. And probably I should have just taken my pips right at 2,900. That was kind of my original plan, is if it kept running, I would just take them at the big number if it bounced off of it. But when it came through, I decided, you know what, I'm going to wait. I'm going to see what happens. but it came up again, and then I just had my stop kind of mentally above this area, and I took my pips at that point for 25. So yeah, I could have had a little bit better, could have had 30 pips or so, but pretty happy with that, especially after the previous run. Now from there, we had basically gotten ourselves, we came up a little bit. There was no trades in here for our rules. And then we ran into lunchtime, London, around 11 o'clock. At that point, I usually don't like to trade, especially when things have been running already, because when things have been moving in the morning, generally a lot of people are just going to take off during the lunch. They're not going to see a lot of action. So all of this didn't really interest me. You can just see how choppy it was, and we had one spike just before New York. Then in New York, unfortunately, there was no short in here for us. We missed this good run. There might have been one. Some people would have one on the RB4, and I actually did have one, but I personally missed that trade, which was unfortunate, but it happens sometimes. And then I did try one trade in here where I was hoping things might come up a little bit for the New York Stock Exchange Open. So I took this trade right in here where I was just looking for another leg up, maybe to these previous high points, but unfortunately it didn't go, and after it failed a couple times, I just took the break even. So after that, we had some pretty choppy trade. I was happy with the pips I had already, happy with a great European morning session, and New York just wasn't really giving many or much good price action, many good setups. So I just wrapped up my day at that point. So that's, yeah, pretty good day. Like I said, 6 trades on the range bar, 3, 60 pips profit. Definitely nothing wrong with that. If you can be consistent, it doesn't really matter how many pips you necessarily make as long as you're consistently making pips. So yeah, any questions, anything like that, you can leave them for me, and hopefully this was helpful in terms of seeing how range bars are traded with our elite range bar trading system. All right, thanks guys. Bye.